When people ask me what I do for a living, I usually boil it down to, I make guitars. I graduated from Maryland Institute College of Art in 1991. There was this place in Annapolis called PRS Guitars I knew nothing about. All the stuff that I learned in college translated right into making guitars. When I was given the task to oversee private stock, I knew what it was going to take to do the job, creating some of the most custom, one-of-a-kind, unique instruments. I think private stocks are ultimately works of art. Each one is unique, each one is handmade. It's one thing to have something on paper, but it's another thing to take it from paper to an instrument. It's like a sculpture at that point.
The original name of private stock wasn't private stock, it was private stash, because it had a drug connotation, which was never intended. It was intended to be this private stash of wood that was a mousetrap for rock stars. If a rock star got near this stuff, they'd want to make a guitar out of it because it was so beautiful.
Private stock is really a boutique team inside of PRS. All the employees have been here for at least 15 years. I've had the choice pick throughout my tenure here. It's a true custom shop build.
This is the story of private stock. We started this program and it was one at a time. It wasn't a batch of 30 or 40, it was one at a time. The really unique stuff started in the vault when people wanted to order something nobody ever had, ever.
The private stock process always starts with an order sheet. The order sheet travels with the guitar. That way each team member knows exactly what they are responsible for on the guitar. We have build sheets that go back to the very first private stocks that we built. The private stock experience is different from just a regular PRS experience because you can actually come here and pick your own woods for your guitar. In the private stock vault, there's over 50 species of wood from all over the world. Tops, backs, necks, fingerboards, veneers, everything that you can assemble your guitar right in front of you. They get to pick out their dream guitar.
It was intended as a sales tool. I don't think there's another wood library like it. I've never heard of one. I've never seen one. It was an invention to survive.
Because of the relationship that our wood team has with these outside mills, when they get something special, they call us.
The acquisition of these extraordinary woods is done by a team of experts who used to log themselves or be furniture makers or woodyard managers. We've got a highly skilled group of people buying this stuff that know what they're doing.
We have a lot of specialty woods in private stock, and they have to go through a pretty extensive drying process. Depending on the wood, how dense it is, some of these woods take years to dry. Normally when we get a mahogany, maple, it goes into hot rooms and goes through our hot room cycle till we get the moisture somewhere between 5 and 7%. We have a palette of wood of pale moon ebony that so far has taken 2 years to dry. Once the wood is ready, it's milled down, cut for production. As we're manufacturing each piece, we have built-in dry time, so every time the wood is cut, it sits, acclimates to fit our process. We do that to ensure the guitar is stable down the road. My
understanding of how the wood affects the tone of the guitar has increased over a long period of time. It turns out, in just my experience, that the less water it has in the wood and the more the resins are crystallized, the more the guitar sustains.
Private stock is still split up between a wood shop, a finish hall, and final assembly. We all have a common goal, and that's to get guitars out. They don't need a lot of guidance. They know how to get the job done. They work well with each other. In order to get this guitar right, everybody has to be on the same page. Because of the customization that comes with a private stock, we have a full-time CNC operator. We're able to take different packages and transpose them onto a different guitar, enabling them to have a custom one-off guitar. 5-way rotary instead of a 3-way toggle, putting an extra sweet switch in there, or something that takes it to single coil with a couple extra switches. All those things are possible under the private stock umbrella. One of the most important aspects of our guitars is the neck.
The whole neck process is the core of guitar making. The only way you know it was done right is the guitar is playing in tune, it's staying in tune, and there's some sort of extraordinary comfort level and the guitar has some sustain. If you don't make the neck right, the note will die. It's a very complicated thing making necks, and The private stock team, there are people on that team that do nothing but make necks.
What's different about a private stock neck is not only the wood, but it's also the inlay. Most of the private stocks have old birds, but customers and dealers can pretty much do whatever they want. They can have their own design, they can have their name on it. A lot of times they just like to work with me to come up with a cool, unique design. The work done in the wood shop is like building the foundation of a house. You're putting the body and the neck together. You're getting the intonation points right. You're getting the neck angle right. You're getting the sanding right. If it's not sanded right, the finish isn't going to lay on it right. So it's very important to get the first steps done before it passes on to the finish hall. Once the guitar is final sanded in the wood shop, now we're ready for stain. That's when the guitar comes alive. One of the more unique aspects of private stock is helping a customer develop color. It's our job to be able to capture that emotion or their vision in that color.
If Paul Miles and his team want to go for a new color, they don't have to clear it with anybody. They have a free hand. It's really nice. It's beautiful, actually.
We don't only stain the top of the guitar, we'll stain the neck, we stain fingerboards, backs, tuner buttons, knobs. If it's maple, it can be stained.
I've never seen a combination of art and production in the same environment like this ever. In a way, that's what private stock is. It's a production facility doing art.
Final assembly is the last stage of the building process. A private stock final assembler is not just building the guitar, but they're checking every spec that was on that sheet all the way back to wood shop to make sure that before they put that guitar in a case, that it is exactly what the customer or dealer wanted. The private stock assembler does everything from electronics, soldering, wiring. They're putting the strings on, they're intonating. It's a full setup of the guitar.
That's the way the assemblers are every day. They're literally taking this guitar and putting it together, and it comes alive in their hands.
Not only do the final assemblers play each private stock, but Paul Smith comes in and plays each one before it goes out. He takes time out of every day to come down and make sure that he checks every private stock before it goes out the door. And that's not only the electronics, it's the feel of the guitar, it's the look at the guitar, it's everything.
I like going down and checking the guitars. It's a big part of my day. Paul and I meet almost daily. To me, I'm just trying to get the formula right so that every time somebody picks up the guitar, it's the best one they ever touched. That's what I'm trying to do.
The signatures on the back of the headstock are basically the stamp of approval. It's the last thing that's done before the guitar hits final finish.
I love private stock because it operates semi-independently from the rest of the factory. Core guitar building team help private stock all the time, and private stock helps them. It's pretty integrated. It's like a dovetail. There's hundreds of years of combined experience making guitars between this whole group of private stock craftsmen. Our best guitar makers get to move up from production into private stock. So it's a thing that these craftsmen want to be a part of.
Once a customer gets their private stock guitar, our goal is to take their breath away.
Aesthetic arrest. When somebody opens a private stock case, I want them to have aesthetic arrest. If you're going to trust us to make you that level of instrument, what you deserve is your expectations being exceeded.
The passion that exists from the employees on private stock is truly amazing. It just shows the love of the guitar, shows the love of the instrument, the people around them. It really is a family.
A very, very honed team, and Paul's part of the reason.
What keeps me coming to work every day is there's always something new. There's always something of interest. There's always something that's challenging us. When I was given the task to oversee private stock, I knew what it was going to take to do the job. Creating some of the most custom, one-of-a-kind, unique instruments that we call private stock.
I like this guitar. And what's not to like about the way that sounds? It's got a beautiful tone to it.